So far, I don't yet know what I will think about this show in general. We need a little more, but I will say this was the most substantial episode for me, where Doogie's family comes more to life and the characters become more likable. Now, exactly why this episode is the best so far, in my opinion, we're going to get all into that, and be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments too. That'll be fun. Hi, fellow Disney Plus watchers. This is Thoughts After a Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching the channel that's all about Disney Plus movies and TV shows. So just fair warning here before we start, I do want to discuss spoilers to really do this episode justice, so you can press that watch later button if you haven't seen it yet. Still around? Let's do this. This episode starts out with Lahela and her co-workers performing surgery on a guy that drank fish soup after a few too many drinks. Now, what stood out to me about this scene, and it's a bit hard to put into words, but except for Lahela's mom, of course, the rest of the characters from the hospital surrounding Doogie are a bit off. I think it's because they're supposed to be the light-hearted additions to the team and deliver some comic relief, but most of the time I don't think they're funny, and they leave me raising an eyebrow. They're just a bit too many quippy one-liners and a little too little things that make me feel these are actual characters and not some secondary actors awkwardly placed into a scene. It's just a vibe I'm getting with these guys. You might feel totally different. The real story of this third episode begins when Lahela and her mother Clara are in the car on their way home, and daughter asks mother, hey, can I get the car for an afternoon to go to Starbucks with my best friend? And she can't, even though Doogie's got her license. And this story gets tenser when Lahela watches her brother get permission to get his own vehicle. No, not to borrow, he's allowed to get a Vespa and ride around in it. Now, from here on out, she gets more and more jealous of her brother and more at odds with her mom. And Doogie learns the wrong lessons in this episode. Now, that's not a negative on this show at all, but what I mean by that is she actually learns how to lie and manipulate her way into getting what she wants from both this crazy reporter guy and her own brother. And it doesn't get paid off in the most expected way. Like, we did get a feel-good ending in the episode, but what I kinda expected was a I'm sorry I lied to you, mother, from Lahela, but we didn't get that. The ending is all about Clara opening up to her daughter and admitting, hey, I was being overprotective, I was wrong, I'm sorry. By the way, I thought it was really sweet that Clara said, the reason I'm so hesitant about you driving is I am not ready. I worry the minute you start driving by yourself is that you get in a car and never come back. You know, driving away from your old life. Now, we have seen the overprotective mother realizing she's holding on to her kid too tight countless of times in movies and TV shows, but I think it really works here as the metaphor for driving away and never coming back is so connected to Lahela's wish to borrow the car. But yeah, it is interesting that this episode could, in a way, teach kids the wrong lessons, because it doesn't come back to Lahela lying and deceiving her way around things to get what she wants. Yeah, true, we see that she almost gets busted when Clara looks at her own car and asks, does my one tire look different to you? Lahela is very close to getting her karma here, but actually, she puts the lessons that she learned from her brother and that crazy reporter to use and actually manipulates her mother by offering her treats at Starbucks. Yay! Which is similar to what Kai was doing during this episode, just distracting his parents with sweet treats to get what he wants. Now, this is wrong. I know it's what teenagers sometimes do, and it's part of the learning process of what to do in life and whatnot, and I think it's actually hilarious that the episode presents this as a good lesson, you know what I mean? Because Doogie gets away with it at first try. I actually like that. The most predictable ending we could have gotten was a conversation between her and her mother about honesty and just, oh, Lahela, if you just been honest to me, then none of this would have happened and blah, 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 blah. Okay. I like what the series is doing so far with patience, making Doogie realize something and then Lahela taking that advice and try it out in her real life. I like the back and forth of that. Her patience do play a role in what she learns about life. In this case, the reporter dude teaching her a lesson about stop asking for permission and just do it. In the first episode, it was about her learning that death is part of life. It was a little bit heavier of a subject, but I don't care how big the theme is. As long as the patients Lahela meets do have something to do with the purpose of the episode, I'm good. I enjoy that about the show. About the rock on, life is a dare, crazy daredevil reporter, he did feel a bit off. I liked his scene in the hospital, but his presence is kinda how I feel about some of Doogie's co-workers. It just feels a bit off to me. Disingenuine, just is too much. Just my opinion though. Yeah, I think we touched on most of the important stuff here. I also quite like Brian and his crush and him trying to impress her and everything. There's something about this kid that sells it. He feels real. I don't know if I have any more particularly interesting things to say about that. It was just, he was good. Overall, I'm not crazy about this show or anything. There are a bunch of side characters that just feel off a bit, but most of the time I'm enjoying myself decently. The family of Lahela is growing on me. How the patients and Lahela's story intertwine within the episodes is quite good, and I think they should keep that going. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm curious, what did you think of this third episode? Be sure to let me know in the comment section. Don't forget, if you enjoy the idea of discussing Disney Plus content with us, that red button looks familiar, right? And if you're interested in thoughts on previous episodes, it's all in the description, or you can browse the channel page. Did you like this video? Then be sure to consider giving that a click. Thanks. I'll come back to you with Turner and Hooch and Marvel's What If today. And of course, we're gonna talk about Star Wars Visions very soon. So excited. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.